Hey, it's Randy from Funeral Funds of America. In this video, I'm going to share with you the actual pricing for $10,000 worth of burial, cremation, final expense, life insurance, or funeral funds for a 68-year-old male. Now, first thing I'd encourage you to do is go to our website. And we've got these free quoters on just about every page, and all you need to do is just select the state that you live in. We are licensed in all 50 states, by the way. Select the coverage amount. Put your birthday in there, the rest of the info, click Get Quotes Now, and that will show you the best insurance companies with the lowest pricing in your state. And that will help you avoid two things. It will help you avoid those policies out there that you see all the time on TV and junk mail and magazines and stuff that offer those really low teaser rates. And then when you call them up, you find out it's for no coverage at all, hardly. And then they try upselling you into a more expensive policy. We can help you avoid that. Also, it helps you avoid those plans with 2-year waiting periods that in many cases can be 200% more expensive than first aid coverage. Keep in mind, you can also call us at 888-862-9456. Now, really, the first thing a 68-year-old male should be asking themselves if they're looking for $10,000 of insurance is that going to be enough to pay for their final expenses? Well, let's take a look at that. Typically, we'd be talking either cremation or burial. So if you're going to be cremated and just come home in a cardboard box or an urn, that's one way to go. That's between $1,000 to $2,000. If you're going to be cremated and have some sort of ceremony, celebration of life, remembrance ceremony, something like that, that's probably going to be between $3,500 to $4,500. So let's talk about coverage. So that cremation where you're going to come home in a cardboard box or an urn, we would typically recommend between $5,000 to $7,000 worth of coverage. Now, you might be saying, well, hold on there, Randy. If the cremation is going to cost $2,000, why are you recommending $5,000? Well, the reason is you're 68 years old and you probably want to make it to 78 and probably even 88, right? So we know that prices do go up over time due to inflation. So we want to actually get a little bit more coverage now. That locks you into your youngest rates right now, and it inflation proofs your plan so you don't have to come in and add more coverage later in most cases. And also, God forbid something did happen sooner, you've actually got a little extra money to maybe, or your family would, to pay kind of some other final expenses or medical bills or some things that you would have gotten paid off if you'd lived a little bit longer. So it's kind of nice that way. And then if you're going to do that cremation with the service, we'd typically recommend maybe $7,000 to $10,000 for the very same reasons, inflation proofing the plan. And then if something did happen sooner, there's a little bit extra money there to pay off some other bills. Now, for a burial, the average cost of a burial right now in the United States is right around $10,000. So if you walk into pretty much any funeral home in the United States right now with a $10,000 check, they will get it done. It's not going to be anything fancy, but it's hard to imagine that they would say, nope, we're not going to take your money, walk out the door, and you can go down to one of our competitors and we'll give them the money. Chances are they're going to get it done for you. But just understand that's what it costs today. And if you're 68 years old and you make it up to 78, that's not going to be enough 10 years from now. So a lot of times folks would, 68-year-old males would get $10,000 to $15,000 on average, sometimes $20,000, but it just depends on you and your budget. Pretty much everybody we work with is on a fixed or limited income. So sometimes they have to start out at $10,000, and we can always revisit later and add more coverage, another $5,000, whatever that would be. But it's really important that you get something right now, because with first aid coverage, that's going to take care of the most significant burden right now. And again, with the gift of time, you can always add more coverage later. One thing we don't recommend, sometimes people just want too much of this insurance, and they might say, hey, I want 30, 40, 50,000 because I want to leave money behind for my kids. The challenge is it can get a little bit expensive for people on a fixed or limited income. And we typically recommend don't get more insurance, just spend that money on your kids while you're alive. Instead of giving them money when you're dead, spend that money on them while you're alive. And they'll have those memories, and you'll have those memories as well. And bottom line is, if you wanted, you could get a separate policy for your final expenses. If you really wanted to leave money for the kids, you could get a separate policy for that part too. And that way, if you ever change your mind, you could cancel the kids' policy and you'd be left with your final expense. Another creative way of doing it. So one thing we always recommend is getting first day coverage or benefits. We do not recommend those 2-year waiting period plans. Talk about those in a moment. But yeah, first day coverage, what that means is that hypothetically, if your policy were issued and approved today and you died tomorrow, the insurance company would have to write that check for $10,000 or $15,000 or $20,000, whatever it would be. It's the best coverage and the lowest pricing. Now, sometimes people would say, hey, you're right, Randy, I do want that first day coverage, but I'm not in the best of health. And I know those first day coverage plans ask health questions. So I'm not sure I'll qualify, to which we say, hey, that's our problem, not your problem. And what we mean is from an insurance perspective. And the reason we say that is we work with a bunch of different insurance companies, and all of them have different health questions, and all of them have different underwriting. And really right now, about 95% of the time, we're able to get people first day coverage. So that's really, really important. Really, the only reason we wouldn't be able to get you first day coverage is if you had some significant health issues going on, like maybe you had a terminal illness and you were going to pass away in the next 12 months, or you had dementia, or you're on dialysis, or you're in a hospital, or you're in a nursing home. If that were the case, we'd typically refer you out to a different insurance company. The other thing that happens once in a while, seems like on a weekly basis, so, is we'll have somebody call up and say, hey, we had a family member pass away this last week. They didn't have insurance. We don't have any money. The body's down at the funeral home. The funeral home director's not going to do anything until he gets a check in his hand. We need to get this insurance for this person so that we can get a check in our hand to get to the funeral home director. And we have to let them know there's no insurance company in the United States that's going to issue a policy on a dead person. It does not work out that way. And it's really sad. It's really sad that the person who passed away didn't take care of this. They knew they were going to die someday. Yeah, they did. And they probably thought about getting this insurance, but they never did. And now this burden falls on their family. And typically when this happens to families, they have to put it on credit cards at 26% interest. And you've just failed your family and put them into debt. And what a terrible legacy to leave behind when this could have been prevented. And this insurance is affordable. And even if you're on a fixed or limited income, just get some coverage right now, because that will take the burden off your family. Yeah. So don't leave that legacy. Don't be that person. That's not a good person to be. But let's talk about those 2-year waiting period plans. And Colonial Penn, you've probably heard of them. They're on TV a lot. I think they're fairly well known, but they play those darn commercials every 7 minutes, it seems. Yeah. But yeah, their $9.95 plan. That $9.95 plan is a 2-year waiting period plan. You probably didn't know that, did you? Ouch. Yeah, ouch. It is. Ouchie, mama. Yeah, you didn't know that, right? But there's other 2-year waiting period plans out there too, like Mutual of Omaha, their United of Omaha line, AIG, Gerber, man, just a host of other ones. And some of these companies have done an amazing job of convincing the American public that if you're over age 50, the only thing you're going to qualify for is a 2-year waiting period, to which we always say, don't fall for such nonsense. We help people with first day coverage all day long. Yeah. Now, our 68-year-old male probably just got finished watching a $9.95 Colonial Penn commercial. He's probably all inspired, thinking he's going to get a lot of insurance, right? Because that commercial sounds so good. And, probably thinking he's going to get $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, maybe even $50,000 for $9.95. And then he calls and talks with the Colonial Penn agent, or goes on their website like we've done here for you, and sees that 1 unit of coverage, which is $9.95, is only going to pay $762. Now, $762 is not even enough to pay for a cremation in any part of the United States that we know. And even if it would, it wouldn't matter, because it's got a 2-year waiting period. Yikes. Yeah. So why would you ever get a plan that was underfunded with a 2-year waiting period just based off $9.95? There's some people out there would say that, there's some companies that offer these low teaser rates, just to get your information, just to get you in their marketing funnel. And Then they'll call you and they'll bother you and pester you. And then when they get you on the phone, they will present that teaser rate, and you'll find out that it's actually minuscule coverage, almost worthless. And then those companies will try to upsell you to more expensive and more profitable for them insurance policies. So we're not saying Colonial Penn would ever do anything like that, but some people may have that opinion, and I guess you're going to have to form that opinion on your own, just seeing that, $9.95, it only pays $762. So kind of is what it is. But we want to check out $10,000 worth of coverage. So we're going to come here. I have no idea. Is that going to be 7 units? No. Whoop. We're going to have to go to like 14 units, I think here. Maybe 13. Let's take a look. That's the thing with Colonial Penn. You got to guess around with these numbers. At age 68 for a male, you can't buy 5,000 or 10,000 on the nose. Come up with these wackadoodle numbers because they've got to have their $9.95 to be able to sell. That's got very little coverage. So here we go. 13 units, $129, roughly $130. That's going to get you $99.06. I don't know. What's 14 units? Let's see. There we go. Let's go that one because we want at least 10,000. So 10,068, $140. Let's go see what first day coverage would cost. Here we go. We've got 10,000 right here. Male, age 68. Hit the get quote button. Again, we're going to come back here. Roughly 10,000 for 140. Look at this. Look at this. I'm going to show you here again. $10,000. $62 for 10,000. And this is first day coverage. Level means first day coverage. So that's 62 versus 140. Yikes. Right? So that's roughly, I'm just rounding numbers here, roughly $80 more a month. Think about that. If Colonial Penn is $80 more a month, that's $80 times 12 months. That's $960 a year. If our 68-year-old male lives to age 78, with that Colonial Penn plan, you will have overpaid roughly $9,600 more than if you had gone with the first day coverage company at a lower rate. Why would you ever do that? Why? You need to be an educated consumer. But here's the deal. If you're not an educated consumer, let us know. We can help you become an educated consumer. Just reach out to us. That's what we're here for. Call us at Funeral Funds of America. Let's look at some other companies here. Let's go. You'll be able to see all these different insurance companies on our quote as well. Well, here's one. Lincoln Heritage. They're a fine company, I guess, but yeah, look at that pricing. Yee. Roughly $81, right? That's kind of expensive. It is level coverage, so that's I guess good. But yeah, it's definitely more expensive. And the reason it is Lincoln Heritage has a deal where when you pass away, they will supposedly call 2 or 3 different funeral homes to get you the lowest pricing and maybe do a couple other things. But it's not free. It costs extra money. Okay, right? Because it's roughly $81. Roughly 81 versus roughly 62. So basically right around 20. I'm just going to get numbers close. Right around $20 a month more, roundabout. So that's going to be $20 times 12 months. That's going to be $240 roughly a year. And then if our 68-year-old male makes it to 78, that's going to be roughly $2,400, probably $2,300 or so. It's going to be that much more. So you got to ask yourself, is it worth paying an insurance company $2,300, $2,400 more to make 2 or 3 phone calls, a couple other things that may only take an hour or so? A lot of people would say that's a pretty good payday for the insurance company. We would tend to agree. We would rather see you keep that money in your own pocket and not give that to an insurance company. So what we do is we recommend going with the lower price, and then we've got a free funeral and estate planning guide. And what you can do is you can download that off our website and print it out. And once it's printed out, you just fill it out, you complete it. And you, in that funeral and estate planning guide, you just say who gets what and what goes where and what you want done after you're gone. And then once you're done with that, keep it with your insurance policy. And then when you pass away, your family's going to be protected both financially and emotionally. Financially, because they'll have the insurance, and emotionally, because they'll have the funeral and estate planning guide that you've laid out for them. And all they'll need to do is just follow your directions and execute your wishes, and they'll have the peace of mind knowing they did everything exactly as you wanted it done, and you provided them the money to do that. And what a wonderful gift of love to leave behind, because they will know that you were not only protecting them in life, but you also protected them in your death. And that's a time where you knew you wouldn't be there to help them, but you had everything in place to help them. What a wonderful legacy to leave behind. So we can help you with that. Go to funeralfunds.com. We've got a special quarter for our YouTube viewers, funeralfunds.com/YouTube. And you can get the most discounts and best rates there. You can also call us at 888-862-9456. One of our agents can help you understand your options. But whether you've got an existing insurance policy and you want to price shop it to see if you have the best deal, or you want to add coverage to that, we can help you out with that. If you are looking for a brand new policy or just want information, pricing, rates, qualification, anything like that, we can help you out with that. But we look forward to the day where we can help you get the most amount of coverage for the least amount of money. We will be blessed to help you on that day. But until that day comes, you stay safe, you take care, you have a nice day. Bye-bye.